score in the fourth quarter, Sweetwater leading over McMinn Central 24-17. And like I said, joined for the free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard show. Also, you know what? We might be back. We might be doing a playoff game or so. I know Tim Elrod, man, he's pushing for it. He wants us to do one. So we'll look at the matchups and we'll see what we think we can bring to you.
If you're out there, guys, and you want to sponsor something like that, give Brad a call.
Cost money for these.
Yeah, these are expensive games.
Yeah.
Expensive games, guys. So we need the funding to cover it.
Yeah, and that's the important thing to it, because we do these regular season games, that's fine. But once you get into the playoffs, TSSAA wants their cut, as you can imagine. So, yeah. So,
on top of giving each team $1,000, it's very, very expensive.
It is. So, now, this is Brad Jones. In case you've never seen him before, he is the owner. And you see all this computer equipment in front of you. Brad runs that the entire game. He doesn't get up until it's over. All that's got to be packed up. Brad takes care of all that. And so thank you, Brad, first off, for giving me the opportunity to be here, but also for everything you do, because that's a lot. If you just saw on the screen here, this is my guy, Coach James Hoot Gibson. And we've enjoyed being in the booth together for several years now.
Yeah, have a blast. It's always fun to see the development of all these schools around us.
And so that's how we're going to end this thing. So it's another regular season in the books as Oliver Springs defeats Midway. Final score 28-17 on your OEB Law Game of the Week.
You need a vehicle that works just as hard as you do. At Ray Varner Ford in Clinton, we make those rugged everyday tasks a little easier so you can enjoy life in this pre-owned 2020 Honda CR-V Touring at $5,995. 2020 Ford F-150 Raptor, $74,550. 2020 Ford Expedition Max Limited 4x4, $44,490. Need car service? Visit our Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center today. Local you trust, pre-owned vehicles you can afford. Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Welcome to the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard. David Queener, Jonathan Cox will be here in just a little bit, and we'll wrap week 11. We'll put a stamp on it and say it's done, in the books. Football season, as far as regular season of 2022, is complete, in the books, finished, and now we move on to a one-and-done playoff system. So if you're lucky enough to be one of the 4 teams out of your region that's advancing on. Congratulations. If you're not, get in the weight room, work hard this winter, and get ready for next year. Be here before you know it. So a lot of games tonight finishing up. Clinton's at Carnes. They were getting beat. I don't know if it's final yet or not. It wasn't when I looked at it just a minute ago. Oak Ridge, I don't think it's final yet at Campbell County. They were winning also. Oak Ridge is final now. So Oak Ridge beats Campbell County, secures that second place position in the region, guarantees him a home football playoff game. That's always, don't really matter what your record is, if you can get that home football game. So that's good for them. So I would think that means Campbell County finishes 4th, Carnes finishes 3rd in that region. Powell's is the number one seed out of that, defending 5A state champs. Last I seen that, it's probably a final now. Rockwood was getting beat by York. Coalfield is absolutely, man, this takes down Oneida tonight. I mean, wow, that's all I got to say about that. It's just wow, 42-0. Man, that used to be I don't know where that game was played. I don't know if it's at Coalfield or if it was up at Oneida, but they say in Oneida, man, that's a tough place to play. Not too tough tonight for the Yellow Jackets out of Coalfield. They go up and put a whooping on Oneida and make them like it. Harrison County's at Scott County tonight. They win that fairly handily. So AC will advance on. They'll be the number 1 seed out of their region. Folks, any way you look at it, they're on a collision course, probably in the second round with probably more likely Elizabeth, and I think that's how it worked out. And the third round probably be Greenville, and it'll all come down to the third round for AC, whether they can advance on or not out of the region state, into the state tournament and advance on to get any further. So we'll look forward to your calls tonight, 483-8112, and like I said, we appreciate the Free Medical Clinic sponsoring our show here on Friday night. They have for the last couple of years. We appreciate them. And folks, I say, just don't go without insurance. Give them a call and check with them and see if they can help you out. More than likely, they can. There's no reason to go without medical care if you need it. There's places out here, and Free Medical Clinic is one of those places. Give them a call. Check them out online. Give them a call, but check with them, and they'll be able to help you out. I feel sure about that. So Carnes beats Clinton 50-28. I told Ron Merritt today I thought Clinton would have to score 40. I was off a little bit. They needed to score 60. But anyway, Clinton ends the season at 5-5. I don't think it's what Coach Keith thought would happen this year. It's probably not what a lot of fans thought would happen this year. But, it's what happened. So Clinton's still in that rebuilding process, and, they're chipping away at it and getting better each week and each year. And, next year ought to be even bigger and better. So we'll see what can happen next year. We'll see and look forward to Clinton coming, next year and coming back and seeing what happens next year. So, Mayor
Cox is on the line for you.
Oh, okay, Mayor Cox. But like I said, Oliver Springs goes down to Midway tonight and wins a big ball game, and congratulations to them tonight. Now, let's get this. This is the mayor of Oliver Springs, I think they said. Go ahead, Mayor. You're on the phone, buddy.
Well, I just want to get it over with and congratulate Oliver Springs. Of course, they were already in the playoffs, but them boys played hard, and they started out real bad, and they ended up good, and hopefully they'll go far in the playoffs. And they played with a lot of heart, and so did Midway. Midway played a hard game tonight, too, but they just don't have their smile like us, and they just don't have the engines to keep it running,
Now, it's hard when you don't have a bunch of kids out there to keep it going, so Oliver Springs did have a really good comeback this year. And I think they dropped their first 4 games and, have been on those streaks since then. So congratulations to Oliver Springs this year.
Yes, sir. We thank you. We enjoy your show, and we'll continue to watch it into next year. We hope.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir. Bye.
All right, see you, bud.
Bye.
Mayor of Oliver Springs. Calling in. He does every Friday night. Got on me a little bit earlier in the year, said I wouldn't give him no love to Oliver Springs. So since I started giving him a little love, he started calling. So we appreciate him calling. I appreciate him calling us and talking to us. He's a big supporter of Oliver Springs, of the Bobcats. He sits right on the press box when I did TV there with Brad and Barry. We'd talk to him there, and I'd go out and sit with him at halftime and talk to him. He's a fine man, done a good job down in the West too. So congratulations to the Oliver Springs Bobcats tonight. So let me read this here. Let me see what Cox has asked me here. All right, taking care of that. It's taken care of. Oh, we got another call. Let's go ahead and get it. Good caller, you're on the air.
What's going on, Big Daddy?
Where you been?
I'm on my way home from Oneida.
Oneida. Heard that.
Oneida won the toss, deferred to the second half, come out, kicked the onside kick, got it. Second play from scrimmage, Cofield intercepted a pass and scored on 5 consecutive possessions. 35-0 at the half, running clock in the second half. Man, that was a fast game, man. It was over. It was over quick. There was no competition to be had. No, Oneida tonight.
Said it's the worst beating Cofield's ever laid on Oneida.
I think that might be correct.
Yeah, that's what they said. It says the worst beating they've ever had from Cofield.
Yeah, I think it was 41-6 previously.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cofield laid it on them tonight. But now they scored late. I will say, it was freshman against freshman in the fourth quarter when Cofield scored to take a 42-0 lead. So, I mean, as far as starters versus starters goes, it was 35-0 at the half, and it remains so. Oneida got the ball to start the second half, had a decent drive. It stalled out down inside the Cofield 30, and then it was just between the 30s after that. It was over quick. You know, I mean, when you get that running clock going, that game goes quick.
It doesn't take long until you're, before you know it, third quarter's gone and the fourth quarter's gone. It goes by pretty quick.
Well, I mean, Oneida, like I said, with that running clock, they got the ball to start the second half, and when Cofield got the ball back after that stop inside the 30, there was less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, there's no more out of bounds and first down stopping the clock. I mean, the clock runs. So
it does.
I was surprised that Carnes had their way with Clinton the way they did tonight. I wonder though, because that running back for Carnes, he hadn't had as many carries this year as he's been getting in years past. I bet they gave him the ball 50 times tonight. Do you have any totals on his rushing statistics tonight?
No, I was listening to Jim Harris on Wish early on, and I know he must have had a couple runs of about 60 yards or better. I think he had a touchdown run too. I mean, a kickoff return too. I'm not for sure on that, but so he must have put on a show tonight. Last year Clinton held him in check a little bit, but not this year. He had his way. I'm sure everybody in that region's glad that he's going to be gone.
Oh yeah, he's a senior, and I'd say everybody's glad.
Yeah, they should be.
Well, hey, listen, I'm going to hit y'all back here for a little later for college football, but Cofield looked good tonight. Playoffs start next week, and it's 0-0, baby. Let's go 5-0 and bring home a go ball now.
Heard that. We'll see, man.
All right, see you.
I see. Quick caller, you on the air?
Hello, Pointer. How you doing? It's Don.
Doing good, Don. How you doing?
Pretty good, fellow school board member. I want to ask you one question, Pointer. Okay, on Oak Ridge. They won big tonight, as we know, big.
Yeah.
Do you think, because Oak Ridge played about at least 3 6A schools and played really Dobbins-Bennett hard, because I heard people talk about that it's the first school that really gave Dobbins-Bennett, a real good game. Played Farragut, played Bearden, played Greenville. I don't know what they may be. They're a really good team, though, I know. Are they 4A or what is it?
Yeah, they're 4A, Don.
But they're a great team. They're a good team. Do you think, because Oak Ridge has played some of the top quality 6A schools, do you think that will help them as if they advance on and like they end up playing Powell again? And I don't know when they would play Powell again, maybe second round, I don't know. But what do you think going down the line? Do you think it's had, and we've got all our, we've had a lot of injuries in there too, Oak Ridge did, and they've got them all healthy again. What do you think, Winter?
Don, I don't see how it cannot help. And considering they played some of those teams without a full load of players, I mean, they had a lot of injuries there at the start of the season. I mean, I think just in the last couple of weeks, they just got some of those young men back. So I don't see how it cannot help Oak Ridge with the tough schedule that they've played this year. So, yes, I think it gives Oak Ridge a little bit of advantage. I think it also gives Oak Ridge a little advantage to get to come home next Friday night and play a home football game at Blankenship. So I think that game's, Oak Ridge typically has played a really good game and then a really bad game. But we need to see if they can put two good games back to back. And now that they're more healthier than they have been all year long, I look for that to happen. I think everybody tonight thought Campbell County was, I'm not going to say have their way with Oak Ridge, but I think they thought Campbell County would be a little bit tougher. And Oak Ridge went to play tonight, and Oak Ridge looked like they might have everybody back, might have all their ponies ready to go.
I think they do, and the thing about it is, Queener, as you know, last year was probably one of the worst seasons. We just had 3 wins. Okay, Oak Ridge had 3 wins. They're not used to that. The worst we ever did before last year was 4-6. And if you can remember back when I was in school, Clinton beat us. We went 5-5 my junior year, 72-73. And in my senior year at Oak Ridge, they ended up playing Central at Neyland Stadium, came back to Blankenship, and lost against Baylor by 6, and Baylor went on to win the state and the national championship that year. So we had a really weak junior team, which is 5-5. And if you can remember back in those days, Queen, we only had to win 4 games to win the state championship.
That's
and
correct.
Now they've added a game on there. And that's another thing I was going to ask you. Do you think there's too many divisions as far as – I really honestly think – I don't think they need 6A schools, really. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. I think 5, just having 5 would be enough, and then you got all. Then when you do that, then you got all the private side that's over there on that. It's sort of. I think 6 is too many. I agree with you, Don.
It's too many, and it puts people in there with records. And in my opinion, shouldn't. If you got a record and you won 2 or 3 games, I really don't think you have deserved to be in a playoff position.
Probably right. I agree with you on that. There's been some teams in there like that in the last 3 or 4 years. I've not seen that very much this year. We probably won't know till after tonight and all the games are completed and everything's turned in, and excuse me, until we get everything finalized tonight or later on tomorrow. Probably more like Monday when everything is finalized, and you see everybody's records to see what type of records everybody's got. So, I think last year some teams just had to win 1 ball game to get in. If they won 1, they were in. So we'll see if that's the same this year. We'll see what's happened this year, how it's all worked out. But
when you do that, Queener, you kind of go back to money. Then it's just the gate, all that. I don't like that, But that's the way they've got it set up. I think they're looking at changing some of that. But I want to give you one more statistic, and I'm going to get off here. 1969, the TSS playoffs were started, 1969. Kingsport Dobbins Bennett has got one of the, in percentage-wise, they've got the largest percentage in winning in the state, one of the largest, maybe the largest, but yet they've never won a state championship. and they've won it now. Mythical before that they won it, but they never won in a playoff. And I think it's probably because if you look at who they play in that area, you've only got Johnson City and maybe Tennessee High, Bristol, and Greenville. Now, of course, Greenville, I guess, I don't know if they play Greenville. They probably do. But they don't play in an area like we do. And if you don't play strong when it's time to go to the playoffs, you're going to have it tough.
But I agree with you 100%.
Did you know that they never have won a championship?
You know, I had heard that before, but I didn't really realize that, but I've heard that before, so that's really hard to believe, you know?
Well, now, the one that has won a national championship is Tennessee High at Bristol. They won a national title. And, you know, you're looking at a school, Science Hill, I think I looked it up, and they've got about 2,800 students. And Tennessee and 2,800 something at Dobbins Bennett. Those are huge schools. And that facility, they've got, both of those are great facilities. And the castle on the hill at Castle, they call it up there at Bristol's. Our coach, Cummings, he's coached up there before. They've got good football, but they don't have enough. You know, they come out, I think they play Morristown West. Morristown East, they may play some. They come into Knoxville some now, but not like they, not much. Now, I will give you one more before I get off statistic. Do you know who won the very first state championship in the state of Tennessee?
I have no idea, Don.
The very first was 1969, and it was Morristown High School, Morristown East, won the very first one.
Morristown East won the very first one. Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Had a couple guys that went on to play in some major colleges, and they were really good. But a lot of people don't realize that the playoffs have, when Oak Ridge won 56 and 58, 61, 62, they were all mythical championships. They didn't have no playoffs, so they were just picked by like the newspapers and stuff, Littenhouse, So I hate to see Clinton lose tonight. I was pulling for Clinton to win. I guess that guy's just, we played again. He's tough, They had that one player, and they utilize him.
They know how to use Bishop. Yeah, he's a good running back, He's a D1 commit to Coastal Carolina, and I'm glad he's gone. I'm sure there's a lot of other people, too, that's glad he's gone.
Right. Well, Queen, I won't take no more time up with you. I just want to give you a few, find out your observation. I think Oak Ridge now, they may run deep into it,
We'll see. I mean, they're healthy, not unless they got some people hurt tonight. Hope they didn't. But they're healthy, so we'll see.
Hey, Queen or Anderson County, you know what? They've come a long way, haven't they? I mean, just think what they do they've really got a good program, don't they?
Yeah, Anderson High School's got a really good program. They do. Good program.
I really wish. Now, Clinton's not playing Anderson County anymore, and then we're not playing Anderson County. I really would like to see all three schools play each other again. I think all the county schools ought to play each other.
You're on the school board, buddy. You can make that happen.
Well, I'm just one. Hey, Queener, I'm just like you. I'm just one.
I know, but I'll tell you as a citizen, I think they all three should play each other too. They've all got excuses for whatever reason, so maybe we can get them all back together. So Clinton and Oak Ridge play. So all we need is Anderson County and we
need Anderson County playing Oak Ridge.
Yeah, we need AC to participate with the other two teams, and maybe it'll all get back. Maybe it'll all get back to where like it was at one time, where they'll all play each other again.
Well, what I'm trying to say, Clinton, Anderson County last few years is really tough. That would be some great ball games, even with Oak Ridge. It'd be good.
It would have been some good ball games. You're exactly right. So if Dr. Tim Parrott's watching, Tim, we want Clinton and Anderson County playing. We want you to work, see if you can get Anderson County and Oak Ridge lined up too.
I think he wants it.
If you need any help on that, Don Bell said he'd help you.
And David Queener said he'd help you.
I'll do all I can, buddy. I'll do everything I can. I'll do everything I can to make that happen.
I'll see you, buddy.
All right, see you, Don. Thank you, man. Great caller, you on there. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, how many games has Rockwood lost?
I'm thinking, let's see, what was Rockwood's record? Hold on just a minute, maybe I can tell you. I want to say there's 6, were they? So they're 6-4 right now. Rockwood's lost 4 games this year.
4 games?
Uh-huh.
4 games?
Yes, 4 games.
Ah.
All right, thank you, bud.
Cool.
All right. I don't know how many games Rockwood have lost. They've lost 4. Don Bell makes a lot of good points there. He is right that Oak Ridge and Harrison County need to play, and Clinton and Harrison County need to play, and that would pretty much take care if we could get them up. Tim Perry, if you're listening, you got a school board member that wants to see that happen. So I'm not on that school board, so there's not much I can do about it. I'm on the city school board, so I don't have anything to do with it. Thank goodness. So, but anyway, we're final night for us. Regular season. Don't panic. We will be back next week. We do things a little bit different on Friday night after we get in the playoffs. You know, we start teams are eliminated fairly quickly. We have to look where teams are playing. There's other things we have to look at to see what's taking place. If there's somebody, you know, with a fan base be back in time for a game to make comments or not. So I can tell you for sure, I know for sure we'll be here next Friday night. And after that part, I do not know if we'll be here the following Friday night. It'll depend on if it's just one game in the area or how many games we've got. We'll be here maybe not as long as we are like tonight. We'll probably be here maybe 11:30, 11:45, maybe 12 o'clock. Next Friday night, it might not be that long. We'll start talking even college football a little sooner than we normally do because we don't have all the games to talk about. So our schedule changes a little bit along with everybody else's schedule, and we'll go in playoff schedule. But like I said, we will be here next Friday night at 10 o'clock, and we'll talk about the games that have taken place. There should be some interesting games. Like I said, I don't have any idea who AC's playing and any idea who Oak Ridge is playing. I don't have any idea about Rockwood. I don't have any idea about Kingston. No idea yet. We'll have to wait and see how all the regions played out tonight, who plays who, and we'll have that for you. We might have that for you a little later on tonight, but not right. I don't have it right now. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Beat Oakdale 20-14.
20-14. Greenback beats Oakdale.
Yeah, I think that gave Greenback third in the district, and then Oliver Springs second, and Coalfield first.
Yeah, I believe you're right on that.
And I believe Oakdale will probably end up fourth, I guess.
I think that's correct also, too.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, man. Great caller, you're on the air.
Yes, my name is Sam Vault. I'm originally from Harriman, and I live in Maryland now, and I watch y'all every Friday night. I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you do. That way I get all the scores around, especially the Harriman score. Just keep up the work, and thank y'all very much.
10-4 on that, but you say you're in Maryland?
I'm in Maryland, Aberdeen, Maryland.
Aberdeen, Maryland, okay. All right, well, Matt, hey, we appreciate you checking us out or being on here with us. Thank you very much.
All right, y'all have a good night. God bless.
All right, same to you, bud. Wow, somebody in Maryland checking us out from Harriman, keeping up with Harriman still and keeping up with what goes on around the area. That's good. Glad to have those people in. If you're somebody else that's watching from a distance, give us a call. It's a free call in here. give us a call, and we'll be more than glad to talk to you. But our number here is 483-81112, 865-483-8112. Give us a call, and we'll chit-chat a little football. Like I said, Week 11 is in the book. It's stamped. Everything's final. We'll swing into the playoff mode next week. Playoff mode's a little bit different, like I was explaining a minute ago, but we're into that part of it. Hey, let's jump out and take our first commercial break of the night, and we'll be right back just in a minute.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference, so we can all continue to move forward together.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy Mae Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy Mae Martin for all your real estate needs. Kathy's 30-plus years of knowledge and experience gives her clients the competitive edge. You know, like me on game day. Kick is up and it's good. Kathy Mae Martin for all your real estate needs.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Football is back. And OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring a full and fair settlement. Call OEB Law, 865-546-1111, and turn your red into a check.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Welcome back to the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard. Glad to have Jonathan Cox with me as always. And Cox, it's in the books. It's in the books. It's in the books. Season's over with. Can you believe it? Pretty quick too.
Goes by quick.
Really, when you think about it, it went by pretty quick.
Goes by quick.
Real
It's
quick. Yeah.
A lot of big games tonight.
A lot of games deciding a lot of seeds for the playoffs.
For sure.
I mean, Oak Ridge is playing for second. I don't know if Campbell County was actually playing for second or not. I think
they were.
Was it a legit second, or was there have to be some scenarios?
Well, if they win, Clinton needed to win. And by the way, do you remember? I was talking about this on the way here. I'm gonna give you some stats from Mr. Bishop tonight.
What were they?
At some point. It was big. It was more than the 80 yards that we got told he landed on Clinton last year. You know, we got a phone call earlier this year saying Clinton wasn't worried about Bishop.
It should have been tonight, because I think he had 2 runs of 60 plus that I know of. I heard Jim Harris talk about, and maybe a kickoff return. I'm not for sure on the kickoff return.
Yeah.
But he had some huge yardage tonight. He did a lot tonight.
They must have got a full dose.
They got a full dose of him tonight.
What do you? And I know you.
But he's not been as good this year as he was last year.
No, his team's not as good either.
Well, only that I think people have realized you gotta try to get him under control. So
you live in Clinton. What's the overall? What's the vibe? I mean,
vibe about what?
The second straight year they've missed the playoffs after.
I think everybody knows it's a rebuilding process, and they're pretty good with it right now as far as from what I'm hearing. Everybody's happy with Coach Keith. They're happy with what he's done. You had to look at the shape of the program when he got it. I don't think anybody thought it would be as quick as it has been to get back to some of the winning ways. To winning, just winning, period. So he's done that. I would think next year ought to be a really big year for him. He has a lot of kids coming back next year. His son will be a senior quarterback. He's got a lot of senior kids that are juniors this year be back next year. So I'm not saying I think they're going to set the moon on fire next year. I'll be shocked if they don't make the playoffs next year. I think next year's the year that you can give Coach Keith a grade when it's all said and done to what he's done with the program after 4 years. And I think he's got them I think they're on the right track. I don't think Clinton's pushover anymore. I mean, they're capable of scoring 40 or 50 points at the drop of a dime.
Yeah, I think.
If they just won the games, that they'd really been in this year, we wouldn't be talking. We'd be talking about Clinton being in the playoffs right now, because they had a chance to beat Powell, had a chance to beat Campbell County, had a chance to beat Oak Ridge.
I don't think they played good against Campbell County. I think they should have won that game.
Defensively, they didn't play good, and they made no adjustments. That's why the defensive coordinator is no longer there. But like I said, there's some games that, when you look at some of the games they lost, when you look at the total points for some of their losses this year, it's not going to be many. I mean, they were in a lot of ball games this year, a lot, and should have won a lot of them.
Yeah.
The 5-5 record shouldn't be 5-5. Maybe should have wound up 8-2. Possibly could have even been 9-1. And that's just being flat out honest. But they just couldn't get away from the penalties this year.
That's part of turning the corner, though. I mean, last year they rebuild to a certain point where they win 6 ball games, whatever it was. This year you'd like to see that go to 8, but just simply because I feel like they shouldn't lose to Campbell County, Lenore City.
I think you're right. They shouldn't lose to those two teams, but I think they still not got it out of their system yet. They got to get those penalties. I mean, too many penalties.
Is it fair to say they were inconsistent?
Yeah, probably inconsistent. Defensively, for sure, inconsistent. I thought they played better at home this year. When I say home, I mean offensively. I thought they played better offensively at home this year. I don't know that the stats are actually going to show that. I just thought they played a little bit better at home this year on the offensive side of the football. But as far as me being a Clinton guy, I'm pretty pleased where they're at right now. Sure, I would have loved to see them going to the playoffs this year. Sure.
Next year, I think they need to make the playoffs.
I think it won't be no need to. They must make the playoffs next year.
Did I hear on the way in about you all having some conversation with maybe a school board member or somebody about?
Yeah, Don Bell, the representative out of Oak Ridge, that's on the Anderson County School Board, said he'd like to see Anderson County and Oak Ridge play. He'd like to see Clinton and AC get back to playing. I told him, well, you're the man that can make it happen. You're on the Anderson County School Board. Get with Dr. Parrott and make it happen.
Pretty simple move.
Pretty simple move. You and Dr. Parrott get together and try to work it out and get them back on the schedule. Seeing how we're fixing to come up to redo the schedule here, so get it back on the schedule. And you know, if I'm the superintendent and if I wanted to play, they're not going to. You know, I don't really care. I don't know how they would feel about it down here, me saying this, but if the superintendent wants you to play, you're probably going to play. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple. I mean, he's the man,
and I had heard.
It's really. I can tell you this much: Clinton Oak Ridge Gate is a good gate, just like the Clinton and Anderson County Gate used to be a good gate. Okay, but that game just got a little bit. It got a little out of control.
I still think that gate.
Maybe they need to play that game with no fans. Clinton Anderson County Gate, no fans.
Come on.
No, I ain't coming on. I'm serious. That's where the problem's at. The problems is out of the stands. The adults play it with no fans. I'd be for that. I could see that. I'd go for that. That would be one way to tone it down. Just get out and play. It's not the kids. It's the fans. Both sides. I ain't just saying one side. I'm saying both sides. So if they won't play, hey man, this day you've already, for all these fans that's played, your days is over with, man.
For sure. Sit there and enjoy it.
Sit there and enjoy it.
Support
your day's over with. It's got to be
kids.
It's just got to be too heated. Just out of control. Listen, somebody was fixing to get hurt, and when they had got hurt, then it would have been too late to have done anything about it. So the right thing was probably done just to cancel the game for a while. Whether it ever gets back on the schedule again, I have no idea. I don't have anything to do with it, don't have any say-so in it, and they sure ain't nobody probably listening to me about it. So, you know, both sides can look each other in the face and blame it on whoever they want to blame it on. But I just told you who I'm blaming it on.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard that some Anderson County representatives were at the Oak Ridge Greenville game. I'm sure, obviously, to watch the Greenville, play, but they were also there to talk about scheduling with Oak Ridge.
Listen, just a few years ago, I stood on Anderson County sideline right down here at Blankenship Field when they played them. I mean, I was there.
What was that, 6-8 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a few, but they played them. I mean, I stood on their sideline.
Good games. I think they played each other in 02 or 03 as well. They were good football games.
There were some good football games. I mean, I stood on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So it is something that can happen. It's just got to be everybody's got to want to do it. And like I said, just my opinion on the Clinton AC stuff. I'd like to see them play. So, like I said, it happened back again. But I understand why it went away. I think it was, 2 years long enough. I don't know. I don't have any idea. Guess the only way you find out is go play and see.
Yeah.
So, but it is a shame that if you're having to drive wherever to get a game, when you got a game that's, I don't know how far Anderson County and Clinton are apart from each other. I don't know how far Anderson County and Oak Ridge.
Two high schools in the same school district.
Same school district. Or two high schools in the same county.
Yeah. Not
playing. I mean, come on. Why would you? I understand why I understand why Oak Ridge wants to go play Kingsport Dobbins Bennett, because it's a traditional game. But, Oak Ridge could have played Anderson County the same 4A pair as playing Greenville, for example. Could have played them. You wouldn't have had to go all the way to Greenville. They just had to go out here, get on Oak Ridge Turnpike, go up into Clinton, get on Charles D. Severs, and run Charles D. Severs all the way to Anderson County High School, hang a left at Anderson County High School, be in the parking lot, play the game, and come back and be home in 30 minutes.
Oak Ridge played Greenville the same night Anderson County was either off or played a Thursday night game because they were there. I can't remember what it was.
So that's just it's a shame that those teams are not playing, but heck, there's probably a lot more teams across this state that don't play somebody that's a rivalry game they've quit in the past, or something's happened to cause it not to go on or whatever. So
yeah, I'm sure you're right.
That's all I know about it. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Quinn.
Hey.
Do I have permission to speak freely? Because I'm going to say it with no affiliation, what you were trying to say eloquently.
What's that?
Coach Keith has taken a program that was absolutely dead in the water, food for the fish. You're talking about a 4 or 5A school that had 30 players coming out to play football, and no passion in the fan base, no passion in the school for kids wanting to play, and has came in and motivated these kids, and he is way ahead of schedule. He's 2 years ahead of what he's really wanting to put out there. In 2 years, Clinton's going to be competing they're competitive now against teams with far better talent. Clinton's underdeveloped. They're young. There's a lot of kids on that team that ain't never played football before, or this might be their second year of football. This team that Coach Keith has got a passion and a fire in them that a lot of teams around this area sure wish they could find, because they got a lot more talent. If they could find that fire and that passion on some of these teams that's got as much talent as they do, they'd be a lot more state champions coming out of East Tennessee. And that's what I got to say about that.
All right, bud.
See you, bud.
See you, bud. There you go, Cox. He thinks Clinton's ahead of schedule.
Well, the only response I have to that, just being a coach and being a casual football fan, is just the inconsistency this year of Clinton throughout the year. I just think if they've got that much talent, then I hate that they lose to Lenore City and Campbell County, because I think Coach Keith does a really good job. I think he has a lot of kids out for football. He played in our 5-star prep jamboree. There's just something and it just might be, that winning culture. I mean, you go to Campbell County. Campbell County, I think, beat Clinton, 11 of the last 12 years or 12 of the last 13 years or something like that.
I don't have any idea what it is.
But, I like that. I like Coach Keith. I think his son's a really good football player. It's just one of those situations where I wish they would, you're ready to see them take the next step because you want to see them do good.
And I think they eventually will. I just don't know when it'll be.
Well, and I don't know what they'll come in the pipeline. Once Keith leaves, do they have a quarterback?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I was trying to look unbiasedly at the Clinton situation, and I'll just start with the good. I think next year they have a chance to be really, really, really good. Probably one of the best teams in East Tennessee. They have a strong shot at that. And I also think next year's their last real shot for a while. Because if you look at Clinton football history, their best teams come in waves. Like I think you both can remember, the last time Clinton was really, really good and feared is when they had Darian Stone. And that's when I was in school. So that was a junior and senior year. They beat Oak Ridge both times. So I think next year they can be a strong contender for that team. But I think that's the last year they're ever going to be a strong contender for at least a while, because you got to look at what's coming up for the Clinton students. Both this year and last year, they got beat by Robertsville and Jefferson, and Robertsville and Jefferson weren't even that good this year, and they still beat Clinton. So you got to look at what's coming up through the ranks of Clinton, and on top of that, Clinton's best players aren't even from Clinton. Jawan Goins from Alcoa, not from Clinton. Joshua Keith, not from Clinton. Really good players. I can name a couple other players, but it wouldn't matter. Their best receiver, though, this year is from Clinton, and Lucas Kendall. Lengthy receiver. He's a stud. He's a wrestler for Clinton High School. He's a good leader and a good stud for Clinton, and they're losing him. Their best receiver. Joshua Keith's go-to man. So I think next year they have a really good shot, but I think that's going to be their last real shot for a while. And I think they can make a really deep run if they just get past this, I don't know what, this losing culture. No way to put it. They've had a lot of close games, but that's just been the problem with them. They've been a lot of close games, a lot of wouldas, couldas, and shouldas, but they didn't beat them. It doesn't matter if we look back and, 9-1, 8-2, it doesn't matter. They lost. Well, all their wins are against bums. It is what it is. So what I think next year,
Gibbs is not a bum caller. You're stepping over the line there.
Okay, well, Gibbs is a very good team. I take that back. You're right. Gibbs is a very good team. But that's I think I could be wrong. I think that's the only team they beat with a winning record. I could be wrong.
No, you're correct.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for correcting me. But Gibbs is a very good team, and that's like their only win against a legit team. So, and just for the record, Clinton has always had a great fan base. I know people there. I have family there. They've always had a great fan base. Even when they had seasons when they were winless, they were passionate. That's why McCamey ain't there anymore, because they ran him out. They were tired of that. They didn't want to lose anymore. They ran out a bunch of coaches that weren't getting it done. I think on the community side, Keith's doing a good job. He's doing a great job community. He's getting kids baptized. He's being a good motivator. In fact, I went to a Clinton game. I went to the Clinton game against Gibbs. And one of the Clinton kids was celebrating it, saying goodbye. And Coach Keith railed him, told him, we are not going to celebrate a kid getting injured. And he put that kid in his place. So I think Keith, in a lot of ways, is a great motivator, great coach in different scenarios. So I actually like Keith, and I kind of want him to succeed. But he's in a tough situation at Clinton because you don't have the talent coming out like you do at Anderson County, like at Oak Ridge. He's got a lot of battles going on. So unless he can bring some more kids from the transfer portal here in East Tennessee High School, I don't see it. But, again, I think next year he has a strong shot at making a deep push. And if he can't get it done next year, you just got to look at it like it was a failure. I hate to say that, but I'm just calling it how it is. I'm someone that's unbiased, trying my best not to be. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on what I said.
I agree. I think he needs to make the playoffs next year, but I think he will. I think he'll get there. I think he lost his best offensive lineman at some point this season for a while, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's back. I still don't know if he's back.
Yeah, and I think that happened right before they lost the Campbell County game. I think there was a defensive coordinator maybe that started the season that didn't end the season. Anytime you do that in the middle of the year, that's always tough on the kids and the coaches. But the bringing up the best player from here and the best player from there and all that stuff, it's a day and time where that is a moot point to me. You go check out rosters all across East Tennessee. We cover 60 schools at 5-Star Prep. And you show me, you go right now and find region champions, 1A through 6A, and you find a team that doesn't have multiple players that are not zoned for their school playing, and you will look and look and look and not be able to find it. That's a moot point. This isn't 1989 anymore, where everybody gets on a yellow duck and they go to the same school that they're supposed to go to. That just don't happen.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying he's not winning with those players.
Now,
he's got to win with them now.
I think the biggest concern is, and I do try to keep up with a little bit of this, the biggest concern is for Coach Keith is after next year, what does he have? A caller earlier called and said the pipeline was good. We're going to be as good as we've ever been in 2 years. But on the flip side, I've also heard that Clinton Middle School teams are maybe as down as they've been in a long time. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about that. But you make some good points. But at the same time, you make some points that are just irrelevant because at the end of the day, you go look at Alcoa, and they are a team that plays 3A football. They've won championship after championship. And I can tell you, out of their 22 guys that play a lot, I guarantee more than half of them did not go to Alcoa Middle School.
I agree with that. I would put Greenback.
And it's one of those situations when you're in Oak Ridge and you're in Alcoa and you're in Maryville and you have open enrollment, you can do whatever you want. I mean, literally, you can do whatever you want to do. That's why Georgia has a multiplier for open enrollment schools. It's just one of those things. But kids are going to go play wherever they want to go play now. TLS Play is not going to do anything about it and do whatever they want to do. I mean, there's a middle school team. There's a middle school team right now in Knox County. And Knox County, I think, considers there's club teams. And there's a middle school right now in Knox County that has 7 players starting for their team, and those 7 kids do not even live in the county of Knox County. We're talking Lenoir City. We're talking Cumberland County. You're talking Roane County. I mean, they're coming from everywhere.
I know what school you're talking about.
Yeah, they're coming from everywhere. So, not to mention run the bus through Western Heights to pick them up. So it's one of those situations where if you are not out shaking hands and kissing babies, as a football coach, you ain't got a chance anymore. And it's sad it's got to that. It really, really is sad. And you see, and I think to prove my point on that, look at how many high schools are starting middle school, and now Hopper, JV, Hopper, Pee-wees. It's like a pipeline.
Well, it should be.
That's what
it's designed to be.
Yeah, but they have to.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, somebody's going to take their kids.
Somebody's going to take them, yeah.
Well, that's a good point because kissing babies and shaking hands, the Bearden coach is really good at that. I think we can agree that he's got a lot of players on there that are really good that may or may not be from Bearden in the Knox County area. I don't know. Maybe. That's for you guys to decide. But I wasn't trying to rag Coach Keith on the player transfers. That's great. He's getting players in there. He's pitching them something. But my point is he's got to win with them, but he has a chance to win with them next year. And after that, two things on that. One, my personal opinion, I don't speak for anyone from Clinton, just my personal opinion, I don't think he's going to be there next year. I think he's gone. Two reasons why. The pipeline. Just speaking from seeing Jefferson and Robertsville playing Clinton, both teams, Jefferson and Robertsville beat them, and they're not good this year. They're not very good this year. Second, he might want to go watch his son play college ball. I think Joshua Heath can play some college ball, so he might want to go watch his son play. So take that into factor. He wants to watch his son play, and he might see the pipeline saying, we might not be as loaded as last year.
Yeah, but he's just a junior. He's just a junior, so Coach Keith should definitely coach one more year of football.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. After next year, he's going to watch his son play college ball, yeah. So I think next year is the year. That is the judgment year for Coach Keith. If he doesn't make the playoffs, total failure, 4 years, experiment's done. I think he's out no matter what.
Caller, we need to go. We've got our lines lit up, but I'll say this. I think Coach Keith has done a good job getting the program back to where it is, but I think it is time he takes the next step next year and makes the playoffs.
I agree. I respect him as a man. I like what I see with the players. All right,
yep, same here.
Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hey. Hello?
You're on the air. Go ahead. It's your dime.
Hey, can you tell me who won the game between Rockwood last week and whoever?
Who? Rockwood and who?
Yeah.
I don't know. Rockwood won last week, but I don't know who I couldn't understand who he was saying, who they played.
He said whoever. He didn't know who they
they didn't know who. Yeah, Rockwood won last week.
Did they beat Harriman last week?
I don't remember. No, I don't know who it was. I can't remember who it was.
Okay.
No, thank you, man. Quick caller, you on the air?
Yeah, I'm calling just to get a collegiate football question answered here.
We'll try.
Okay. Now, tomorrow's Tennessee-Kentucky game. What is the key for Tennessee to win that game?
I think it's one thing. The defense has to get off the field.
Yeah, I agree with 100%. I don't even have to think about that.
That's what I was wanting to hear because, I was just sitting here sweating it. You stopped.
I thought you were going to ask some kind of factual question.
Well, and caller, if you'll think about this, that's what the problem's been all year long is getting off the field on the defensive side of the football. When they've done it, they've played fairly well. When they've not, Tennessee's been on a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm worried about that. But anyway.
Hey, caller, I'll tell you something. I've done some research the last 4 or 5 days. Got a buddy who's a big mathematician, stat guy, and I wondered if Tennessee giving up so many points was a fair stat to look at with the way Josh Heupel plays football. And if you break down some stats on how many yards they give up per play and how many first downs they give up per game versus per play, and not just look at the overall points they're giving up, they're ranked in the top 32 of every defensive statistical category you look at when you start breaking it down per play. So their defense, which was surprising to me, was not as bad as I thought it would be. So, like if you look up points per play, Georgia's 16, Tennessee's 22nd in the country.
Wow.
Now, Ohio State, 25th. So I think the key is getting off the field tomorrow, because I think they're going to try to give it a heavy dose of the run with some short passes, and I think the key is getting off the field tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Y'all got a great show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but I've been preaching this all year long here about Tennessee's defense. That's something they've had trouble all year long, just getting off the football field.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming those guys over there know it too. I mean,
yeah, but the worst stat,
me and you make.
The worst stat, they're 32nd in.
Yeah.
Is third down conversions. Their third down conversion percentage that they give up first downs.
What is it?
It's 32nd. I don't remember the number. When we go to commercial break, I'll find all that in a text message, because we were going over a bunch of that the other day. But if you think about it, Ohio State's is 28, and Georgia's like in the 14 to 15 category of that one.
A lot of people think, and I don't know if this is true or not, a lot of people think Tennessee's sort of in the driver's seat what happens in as far as being one of the final four teams, that they're in the driver's seat in that between Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, that they could be in the driver's seat. I just think if they lose to Georgia, they're through.
Does Kentucky scare you more or South Carolina scare you more?
Well, either one.
Yeah.
Kentucky, well, I've been saying all along, Kentucky's just one of those teams that could beat Tennessee, just like Vanderbilt has in here. I'm not saying Vandy's even capable of doing it this year, but you never know how Tennessee's going to play against Vandy. Just go by history. Same way with Kentucky. But now Georgia has won some mysterious games here recently and beat some teams that you just wonder, what's going on?
Yeah.
South Carolina. Could that be the upset game?
I don't know. I think Kentucky's a better football team than South Carolina, but the good thing is that game is in Knoxville tomorrow.
Yeah.
True. I think that's the big thing. So to give you an average points per play given up by opposing defense, Tennessee gives up .389, Ohio State .372, and Georgia .433. The average defense in the country is .384 on points per play. They just play a lot of plays. They're out there.
They no longer trot off. They're trotting right back on, because Tennessee's either scoring or giving the ball right back to whoever they're playing. So it's sort of weird. The defense.
I know some of y'all are watching from Anderson County, because I'm getting a lot of texts from you all tonight. How many times has Anderson County went 10-0 in a regular season? Did they do it back when Richie's son Jackson and
That's a good question.
Or Trey and Stanton, those guys were there?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think.
Did they do it for a couple of years there?
Maybe.
I couldn't remember. It's not many times Anderson County footballs went 10-0.
No.
Yeah. Impressive season. They had a good schedule. They played a good schedule. They played defending state champ Powell. They played Science Hill.
They played a good schedule the last 2 years.
Yeah, they played Science Hill.
Last 2 years.
They played Elizabethan. They played Bearden. That alone.
Yeah, but after watching Bearden last night, all that talk about Bearden, how good they were and everything, I think it's just smoke. I don't think Bearden's that good.
Bearden's got
to me. I don't
Bearden's
think
got a pretty good defense.
I don't think Bearden's that good. I watched them last night, and Farragut just did what they wanted to do with them.
So 3 times.
Everybody said Farragut was not going to be that good this year. Well, Farragut's pretty good.
Farragut is pretty good.
Farragut's pretty good.
Yeah, Farragut's pretty good. 3 times Anderson County has went 10-0.
Has that in the last 10 years?
And that would all be
in the last
I would say that Stanton, Martin, and those guys 2017, 2018, and 2022. So there you have it. Yeah, there you have it. And
well, you have to take advantage of having the athletes when you have the athletes, because eventually that well will dry up, and you won't have those athletes no more. Everybody's well dries up eventually. Yeah.
They got it rolling right now.
They do, but let's talk. What will they have next year? That's the key. What's next year?
It's a cord.
If you look at next year, what's next year? And
It's according.
That's what you according to what?
According to what you get.
According to what you get, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
The transfer portal's open from Pee Wee football to college football.
The well looks, the well dries up eventually. Look at Maryville. Finally, after 20-some years, could the well be drying up a little bit at Maryville? I didn't say a lot.
Yeah.
I just said a little bit. I don't think it's, you don't talk about going 10-0 all the time or 9-1. Maryville's the standard, them and Alcoa for doing either one of them.
Yeah.
But eventually, all things, they all dry up.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think I talked to a guy from Maryville last night because I wanted to know, watch that. I watched a little bit of that Bearden game last night and thought, is it going to be where Bearden or Farragut one maybe can make a move and take over 6A in this area? And the guy that I talked to, son played over there. He plays college football now. He's got another son coming up the pipeline. He said it's about 2 more years. He said Maryville's going to be, competitive, but not state championship competitive for the next 2-3 years. But after that, it's back on again.
That's what I'm saying. That pipeline runs in cycles.
Yeah. And the quarterback this year was the difference in Maryville and wide receivers.
If you get in that pipeline and those 2 or 3 years turn into a 4th year and a 5th year with some wild imagination, then it could affect whatever else in that pipeline. It might not matter how strong that pipeline is.
Yeah.
You don't want to give somebody a chance to knock you off the mountain, because man, it's hard to get back up on the mountain. I don't care what anybody says. It's hard to go back to the top.
It is.
It is hard, and I think that's what Clinton's trying to do, is get back on top of the mountain, and they've just not been able to do it. The best thing to do is make it halfway.
Yeah,
make it to base camp.
They'll be good next year.
Make it to base camp, and that's
They'll be good this year. This call right here is going to be interesting.
Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey guys, it's Jesse Smithy. How y'all doing tonight?
How's the trip back from Scott County, Jesse? I understand you rode up with Anderson County tonight?
I did not ride up there tonight. No, sir. I can't say that I've ever been to Scott County, so it's a place that I do want to go someday. I've heard they got an awesome basketball gym, but I was not going up for that football game.
Need to get you up there then.
I know they put up a bunch of numbers tonight, and that was to be expected because they played a winless Scott County team. So we'll see fairly soon kind of what we're going to get out of Anderson County. They'll have a easily winnable game, I think, against Seymour in the first round next week, and then they'll play either Carter or Elizabethton in the second round of that playoff. And if you're Anderson County, and I pose this question to you, do you want Elizabethton again? Do you want to beat them in the playoffs, given how you struggled against them earlier in the regular season, or would you rather rematch against a Carter team?
I want Carter.
I want Carter.
Yeah, it just seemed like Elizabethton has some kind of defensive blueprint of what to do against that Anderson County offense. So definitely don't blame me for saying Carter there. Carter does have a lot of momentum. I tip my cap to them. They started off the year just terribly, and they rallied the troops there and finished the year strong, which they couldn't say a week ago. But definitely have a difficult opponent there in the first round of the playoffs against Elizabeth.
See, I'll tell you why I say Carter is because Elizabethton knows what it takes to win state championships. They know what it's like to win big-time postseason games. I'm not sure the last time Carter's won a postseason game. Years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, and but again, it's just I'm a little bit leery. The reason I asked that question is because I'm a little bit leery of teams that just have so much momentum and can put up numbers that quickly. And certainly, if Anderson County and Carter played, it'd probably be a shootout there, given what Carter was able to do tonight. But I agree. Staying away from Elizabethton, Greenville for as long as you can, that's never a bad thing.
No. I also think a lot of people think that Elizabethton, when they came down here earlier this year to play AC, that a lot of people thought Elizabethton probably should have won that football game maybe. So I don't think Elizabethton's afraid to come down here and play in Anderson County. I think that's a big thing right there, too.
No, again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I was at that game, and certainly in the first half they dominated that matchup against Anderson County. And, of course, Anderson County got back in it there slowly but surely in the second half, and up to 2-point conversion to win that football game. So even though Elizabethton's record's not so sparkling great this year, they've made a few personnel moves that have kind of catapulted them into the second half of the year and really finished strong. So, yeah, you're going to have to face them eventually. So it's looking like an AC, probably Elizabethan matchup in round 2, unless Carter pulls off an upset.
Jesse, was the game of the night maybe Damas Bennett and Science Hill?
Yeah, it definitely was, and we actually are going to have coverage from that game. We have a writer up in that area who I sent him there, and I said, look, the story of this game is going to be, can Dobbins Bennett make a run this year in 6A? You know, they got the dominant running game, the big offensive line. This might be the year that one of those teams from Upper East Tennessee makes a run, and I think it's going to be Dobbins Bennett. And then, lo and behold, Science Hill wins tonight. They come back and score with just seconds left. They're lining up for their PAT, I believe, and it gets botched, but somehow they get off a two-point throw or run and convert it and win the football game by 2 points over Dobbins Bennett and get that 1 seed. So now we're going to see Bearden play Dobbins Bennett in the first round. That'll be one of the better matchups in 6A. And, Bradley Central, I think, will go on the road to play Science Hill.
That is interesting. So now Bearden will travel to. Bearden had to be cheering for Damas Bennett to win that football game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just think about 24 hours ago, or a little more than 24 hours ago, about 28 hours ago. Bearden had a chance to not only beat Farragut and get a first-round playoff game, but if Maryville lost tonight, Bearden would have been the region champion. So from seed hopes, and now they're a 3 seed going on the road, and that's just how crazy things can be in week 11 with tiebreakers and losing the wrong game throughout the year and kind of come back to bite you if you don't win in week 11. So they will have every opportunity to go up there. Bearden's defense is kind of what it's hung its hat on all year long, especially stopping the run game, and they'll have to be able to stop the run against Dobbins Bennett.
Absolutely. I hate when teams limp into the postseason. As a basketball coach, it's terrible to not be playing good basketball in February. Talk about Powell tonight. Did that struggle? Did that surprise you? Did Potts play? Did they hold people out? What do you know about that Powell and North City score?
They played everybody. We watched that game. Guys, I'm telling you, Gary Duggar, the new head football coach at Lenore City, is something special. I'm not joking. I've heard it from a ton of people about him, just the way he coaches football, the way he's changed that culture, the way he's turned them into a physical football team, and they do some real abnormal things offensively that teams aren't used to defending. They came into this game with like a 3-game win streak, just smacked Heritage around last week, and they were right there with Powell in the first half. Powell just did not know what to do, how to line up against that offense, and it's a really fun style to watch when it's working. If it's not working, you can kind of look silly at times, but they pulled off some trick plays and some different formations and really stayed in that football game with Powell. But we watched that kind of in our playoff war room show thing tonight while we weren't live on air. We watched a lot of that football game, and Jordan Potts connected with the Darius Redmond a couple times. They got up 28-14, and Lenore City just kept coming. Scored another touchdown there in the fourth quarter to cut the deficit to 7 points. And Powell is going to be the 1 seed either way, whether Lenore City won that football game or not. But it's a shame that Lenore City is not going to be in the playoffs because it's a really fun team to watch right now in Gary Duggar's first year. So keep an eye on that program under here. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship in year 2 or anything like that, but they are rebranding what Lenore City football means.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle for a while, so it's good to see them getting it going back the right direction. What do you did I hear David say tonight that Oneida took the worst loss they've ever taken to Coalfield?
That's correct. I wasn't able to see that final score. I know they're a 4 seed, I think, in their playoffs, and they had such a good year last year under Coach May that it's kind of odd to see them struggle. But you guys know in 1A or 2A football, you lose the wrong guys to graduation, and your program can take a tremendous step backwards. And I got a feeling that's kind of what's happened with Oneida this year, just not having the dudes that they normally have to compete. But yeah, I mean, Coalfield, I think, is trying to send a statement and play its best football. You don't want to try to just put it on cruise control in week 11. You want to be firing on all cylinders as you go into the 1A playoffs. Because there's some big boys out there in the 1A bracket that they're going to have to face at some point.
Yeah, and, I'm looking at the 1A bracket right now, and it looks like Cofield plays North Green, and then we'll play the winner of the Unaka Greenback, and they look like they can make a pretty good little run to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, definitely so, and possibly a little bit beyond. It's a little bit different of a Coalfield team that I'm used to. I'm used to seeing them put up 300 or 400 yards rushing per game, but they have two quarterbacks that they split snaps between, and both of them are highly capable of leading a team to win if they ever had to do it solo. So it's a little bit different style of Coalfield football that we're used to, but it's definitely a winning style. And I wonder what they learned about themselves in that loss to Gordonsville a few weeks ago. Gordonsville, one of the better teams in that classification, and just kind of beat Coalfield down a little bit. So I wonder what they saw when they kind of went back to the drawing board, how they'll get better if they happen to face Gordonsville again, and if they end up running into South Pittsburgh, how that loss could have made them a better team.
Jesse, Gatlinburg-Pittman tonight goes and plays Pigeon Forge and goes for two late to win that football game. Do you think they can make a little run here in the playoffs, or will that eventually end with a game against Alcoa?
Yeah, I think Pigeon Forge scored their late with about a minute to go and went for two and didn't get it.
Oh, okay, so what happened?
Yeah, that game was a lot closer than I think anybody anticipated. And they've had close matchups in the past, and I'm sure Scott Meadows got that wing tee going and started eating up clock and kept that GP offense off the field. But that GP offense is high powered, really good quarterback, two excellent wide receivers. They got a sophomore running back who's rushed for 1,500 yards. So, but it doesn't matter. Whether they get to round 2 or round 3, Alcoa is going to be on the way, and they played Alcoa already this year, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm not seeing anything on our stuff that Jared sent to me about Kingston. Where does Kingston fall in the mix?
Kingston, their season is done, believe it or not.
They missed the playoffs?
They missed the playoffs. They had, coming into the night, that Region 3-3A had the most complicated structure of playoff possibilities that I saw out of that whole file that the TSSAA released. There were 8 playoff possibilities for Region 3-3A, and the cards just all fell against Kingston tonight. They lost that game to Loudon. Some other things happened with some other games that all pretty much eliminated Kingston. So they sent me their box score tonight, and it said, "See you in August," and I knew it wasn't good.
Wow. And that's 3A, right?
Yeah, that was Class 3. I really thought in week 2 or week 3, or maybe even in the preseason, that when I saw that Kingston-Loudon game in week 11, I was like, wow, that's going to be for the region championship, and I wasn't even close. Sweetwater won the region championship, their first in 20 years. That's a proud program that used to win state championships, a program that used to beat Alcoa on the regular, and here they are winning their first region championship in 2 decades. So great storyline out of Sweetwater. Loudon ended up winning the 2 seed, I believe, out of that one, and they've had some ups and downs this year, but just a resilient program to fight and get that 2 seed. I think they'll play Cannon County in the first round, and that's a winnable game for Loudon. But yeah, unfortunate turn of events for Kingston. I know them losing their quarterback getting hurt a few weeks ago kind of derailed them a little bit, and I think he came back tonight, but just a tough break, because I thought that at times that was a really good Kingston football team this year when healthy.
Jesse, I know I'm jumping around a lot, but you look at the 6A bracket. The 6A bracket is going to be a lot of fun. You've got possible second round matchup of Dobbins Bennett and Maryville, possible second round matchup of Farragut versus Science Hill. Farragut has to be feeling pretty good right now. Possibly playing a couple games at home here before they play a Maryville team or a Dobbins Bennett team that they think, probably for the first time in a while, we've got a chance to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Farragut can even go back to their regular season matchup this year with Maryville and their playoff game against Maryville last year to know that they are fully capable of not only standing toe-to-toe with Maryville, but any of those teams that you just rattled off in quadrant 1 of the 6A bracket. Farragut, I think, is one of the last 8 games. They're running the football well. They're throwing the football well. They have fixed some of their defensive issues that they've had, and they're right there where they need to be. And I thought Maryville came out and had a nice statement win tonight. And when have we ever seen Maryville have to make a statement win? That tells you where they are a little bit as a program. But even without Noah Vaughn, their Virginia commitment running back, who was probably going to be in the mix for Mr. Football, we'll see if he still is or not. But without him tonight, Gage Ledoux ran 23 times for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that was a big performance out of that young man, just a junior. And their defense showed up tonight, too. They hadn't forced a lot of turnovers this year. Just guys with maybe 1 interception in the secondary, maybe 2 tops. And they turned Bradley Central over a lot tonight. So that had to be a positive sign for the Maryville fan base going forward to see a little life out of their program. But as Derek Hunt told me last week after losing to West, I mean, we're going to have to win ugly. And I think you're going to see Maryville have to grind out some 17-14 wins in the playoffs, things of that nature.
Do you look forward to a West Powell semifinal game, or is there someone along the way that could upset one of those two teams?
I wouldn't predict an upset. I think we do get Powell and West along the way, but as crazy and deep as 5A is in this state, not just in upper East Tennessee or where we are in the greater Knoxville area, I mean, anything can happen. I don't think West gets upset. I think they definitely make it to the state semifinals. But for whatever reason, if Jordan Potts, if that shoulder gets re-injured or re-aggravated, he can't throw the ball, I mean, that totally alters the outlook for Powell. So it's all going to come down to how healthy he can play. He's still playing injured. And, but I definitely anticipate another West Powell matchup in the semifinal.
Yeah, and I would like to see Oak Ridge. I'd like to see Oak Ridge with a healthier squad play Powell.
That Oak Ridge game in round 1 might be the TV game next week. I mean, that's a really fun matchup. I know Oak Ridge doesn't want to see the wing tee and Mark Pemberton's wing tee from Ray County, but that's going to be a really tough matchup for Oak Ridge in round 1. They better come prepared. You never want to see that wing tee, especially when you don't have much time to prepare for it. And don't look at Ray County's record, because they've been competitive in just about every game this year. They got some dudes that can run the ball, and but that's what Oak Ridge does best, is stop the run, I believe. And so we'll see which team prevails in that one.
Absolutely. A caller just called me and texted me. Anderson County plays Seymour round 1. Round 2 will play the winner of Elizabeth and Carter. And then quarterfinals would be, it looks like Greenville. I mean, Greenville has Fulton, Gibbs, and Granger on their side of the back bracket. So you that are texting me out there, that's what it looks like for Anderson County.
Yep.
Jesse, anything else that you want to add to tonight? I know it's been a whirlwind. You've been working all day, working all night, and we'll let you go here shortly. Anything that you want to add? Can you believe the seasons went by this quick and we're in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, we didn't get into Division II much, and I don't think we'll see many of our Division II teams fare that well other than Webb. Webb won a region championship tonight over Chattanooga Christian. But what that did was that gives them a first-round bye, but puts them in the half of the bracket with Lipscomb Academy, a nationally ranked team coached by Trent Dilfer. So if they are able to win a couple games, they'll see Lipscomb Academy there in the semifinals on November 18th. So it would actually have been better had Webb lost tonight. They would have been in the top half of the bracket. Yeah, they would have had to play in the first round, but you want that storybook ending of Coach Meschke reaching a championship game in his final year. You kind of needed Webb to lose that game tonight, but they did not do that. You can't tell kids to go out and lose. They're not going to do that.
My brother said, can you believe he's going for 2 to win the game? I said, yes, because he needs to lose. And Jeremy called me. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, if he loses, he plays David Lipscomb probably in the state championship game. If he wins, he sees him before he gets there. And no matter when he sees him, it will be ugly.
Yeah, this isn't just your regular D2 AA team. They're going to be playing up in AAA next year with the Innsworths of the world and NBAs and whatnot. And, they got kids from all over the country, coaches from all over the country. It's almost like a small college over there with their facilities and everything that they pump into that team. So, yeah, you're right. It's not a...
Jesse, can I ask you something real quick?
Yes,
you're speaking on the privates. And I've watched some private school football with Webb and the Catholic of the world and the NBA and the Macaulay. Do you think sometimes we get caught up in the 4A and the 5A and the 6As of the world and miss how good that private school football is in that large division?
Probably so, because we're not subjected to it enough. The majority of those great teams are in major market cities like Nashville and Chattanooga and Memphis. So if a Catholic does have to play Lipscomb Academy, even in Knoxville, there's other big games that week that are going on, and people around here want to watch their teams, not maybe Catholic play a team from the mid-state. So oftentimes you can neglect how good those programs are and how much talent there is. But we went to the Catholic game last year against Lipscomb Academy in Knoxville, and Lipscomb Academy did whatever they wanted to Catholic, and they had their top 2 players out, and that game ended up being like 44-0. And so it was just they got it rolling over there. I don't think people understand how much of a disadvantage local private schools like Webb and Catholic are against the facilities that NBA and Brentwood Academy and Innsworth and Macaulay and Baylor. I mean, they are at a severe disadvantage of what they can offer kids based off of what other competitors in their league can offer. But again, there's a lot of people around here that don't feel sorry for them. I mean, they have the wealth at their fingertips here in Knoxville, and are oftentimes kind of taking players from their community. So nobody's going to feel sorry for the Webbs and Catholics of the world. But when you look at the greater scale of how East Tennessee's teams stack up against Mid-State, they can also pale in comparison.
Yeah, and I was referencing this. Jody and I and David talked about it a couple weeks ago. You look at a Catholic who struggles to score against some of those teams, but yet plays the defending 5A state champ who's getting better right now to a really good football game, and they can't even sniff the playoffs in the division they're in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult ride. I mean, Catholic will be in the playoffs. They're going to go on the road to face, I think, Christian Brothers, so they'll have to play all the way in Memphis next week, and if they win that game, they're going to have to turn around and play Montgomery Bell Academy, who just blew them out of the water tonight. So it's their playoff day won't be too long, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for calling in. I know it's a busy time, but it's an exciting time. Get these next 2 weeks over, and then we find out who the real teams are left in the playoffs and who's got a chance to actually win a state championship.
Yep, we'll have the playoff pairings for the entire state up on our website here shortly. I'm just pulling into the driveway, so I'll get those typed up. Those will be free for everybody, so hop on the site tonight. Got a lot of coverage, photos, videos. We're going to have one of our game film documentaries about Gibbs' senior night coming out in the next week or two, so keep an eye out for that.
Pump it up, bud. Hey, by the way, Halls, Halls, tell Jared. He sent me, and I looked over those brackets as we were talking. So that's why the two of us don't publish anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had to retype that. So when we aired it on the playoff show tonight, it was correct. But I think he sent you the scrub copy.
Hey, I love it. It's all good.
Thanks, Jesse. We'll see you next week, bud.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, see you, man. All right. Hey, let's jump out here, take a break. We come back, we'll talk a little UT football.
Go Vols.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is, it's safer than being tackled by a Tennessee Titan. Give it a shot. Find a free vaccine appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy May Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy May Martin for all your real estate needs. Kathy's 30-plus years of knowledge and experience gives her clients the competitive edge. You know, like me on game day. Kick is up and it's good. Kathy May Martin for all your real estate needs.
Beautiful yards make a statement. And beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Welcome back to the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard. We've ended up the regular season. We'll talk a little college football right now. Tennessee win tomorrow, Cox?
I think so.
Big, little, medium. All year I've said Tennessee's going to win barely. I'm afraid to say they're going to win big because I'm afraid they'll get spanked, but I just think it's a close game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they'll win. I think Kentucky.
Is this the best Kentucky team to come in here in a while, even though the record don't indicate that? Is this the better of the Kentucky teams?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think Kentucky has probably lost a game or two they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
And a quarterback got hurt. This is probably an injury or a game away from being a top 10 battle.
Yeah.
And who would have ever thought Kentucky,
Tennessee?
Tennessee?
That's what I'm saying. So and their quarterback at Kentucky, they're saying he's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft next year. I don't know whether he is or not, but
I think we got the better quarterback.
Probably do.
I don't know that we have the better defense, and I don't know that we have the better running game. But we'll see. And when I say that, I mean just hard-nosed, line it up and see what happens. Tennessee can obviously run the football, but they got a great offense. But I think
we just need to come out with no injuries. Main thing, no injuries.
Find a way to win.
Find a way to win, getting ready for Georgia.
There's no way they can be looking ahead of Georgia.
No, if they do, they'll get spanked tomorrow.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's too big. Black, and I where do you stand? I think it's pretty cool, these uniform combinations and this type of stuff. Are you more of a traditional?
Yeah, I'm a traditional guy, man. Orange orange and white or orange on orange, something like that. I'm all right with. But I'm a
Don't you think
guy.
tomorrow that brings so much hype?
Well, now here's
and
what
energy.
Here's what it brings. It brings recruits. They're having to do it for recruits. I mean, kids want to see that.
Yeah.
Kids want to have a choice of 8 uniforms like Oregon's got, 8 different kinds of helmets, combinations of jerseys and pants to wear, even though it's some crazy color.
Yeah.
Kids want to see that. That's part of the game today. That wasn't a part of the game 20 years ago or 10 years ago even. It didn't happen. These teams that have not changed up, you almost got to wonder when it's going to hit them, when the kids are going to really like the Penn States, the Alabamas, people like that don't change up, that are traditional from the word A to Z.
Nick's not had to do it yet.
He's not had to do it yet. He's not had to yet. I think that's the $1 million question here is when do you have to do it? It's like we've seen this happen in high school football. Kids started leaving high schools around here and going to play at high schools that had turf.
It's unbelievable.
Now everybody's got turf, so it's even more. Everybody can try to get everybody now. So everybody's got turf, so you don't have that advantage. We got a turf field, okay? You got a turf field. I don't really see what the big deal is about a turf field when everybody's saying turf's bad for you, but still, yes, that's all you used to be able to hear.
Yeah.
Well, we can't compete because so-and-so got a turf field now. Well, this one's got a turf field. I've heard that a time or two. Whether it's legit or not, or whether you think it's legit or not, it sure did appear to be for a little while around here anyway, till some people stepped up and made sure everybody
now
had a
you got
turf
schools
field.
doing blackouts and getting uniforms for one night game and different things.
Sure, I think the black uniform's going to probably look pretty slick tomorrow night, but I would be willing to bet you if you polled the donors, just the donors, probably the older donors would vote against it.
I can see that.
Just like the older people are really complaining about the noise at Neyland Stadium, the music,
Here's
and all
the
the
thing.
thing.
So let me. I've not talked about this all year. I said in section U, row 30, I cannot hear anything that Jeff Jarnigan says. I cannot hear any music. It is the worst sound system.
Why is everybody else complaining about it then? It's so loud.
I don't know where they're sitting. The only speakers that really put out any volume are the ones on the ends of the Jumbotron. That's about all I can hear. And my hearing is not real good. But you think in section V, U, and T, you'd be able to hear what they're saying.
Well, you would think, yeah.
And it's not even the loudest section as crowd volume.
Everybody said it's so loud over there, it's unbearable.
Come over and hang out. Come over and hang out in my seat and tell me if you can tell. You can't hear you cannot hear him say who makes the tackle.
Wow, that's unreal.
And the ref mic, it hadn't been right all year. It sounds like cell phone service driving between La Follette and Lake City, Jacksboro and Lake City. I mean, it beats anything I've ever seen. I'm serious. You cannot hear whoever's saying that about the volume. They must be setting up in the upper deck beside the Jumbotron. Because I'm telling you, that's the only place I can hear music come from. And then they'll put Sterl the Pearl on there, and he'll start his mixtape, and I can't even hardly hear that, but you can just watch him do that for a couple minutes. But now, it's as loud as it's been in there. It's cool to take my kids over there and be like, hey, this is what it was like when I was younger. But I'm serious. I cannot hear anything.
Well, that's a different version because most people are saying how loud it is and how, they don't want to go back because it's so loud because their ears ring for 2 or 3 days. And let's get this call here right quick. See who. Great caller, you're on the air.
Hey, David, you and Johnson, how you guys doing this evening?
We're all right.
You're all right there. Well, good deal. I hate to see the Dragons go down tonight there, even though their defense has been a little suspect there the last few days. That running back there at Carnes tonight there, I think he pretty much had his way with the Dragons defense there, but there's always next year.
Yeah, it's one way to look at it, isn't it?
Yeah, we say that a lot there, but...
You're always next year now is coming off a 6-win season versus 1 or 2.
Absolutely there. And I was listening to Jesse talk there, and he was talking about the private sector there with the private schools and stuff there. I know down there, David Liscombe, I've listened to their head coach there talk a little bit on the herd there a little bit. And, of course, he's a former NFL quarterback that won a Super Bowl there. But I think they're pretty tough there. Webb may have a pretty hard time with them there. You know, you got a quarterback, you know, with that stature and stuff there. You're going to draw in a lot of recruits and stuff there. So that's Trent Dilfer. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that there. Even though Meskey's had a good season this year.
Meskey's just, you know, he's taking a case knife to a gunfight.
That's not a good sign.
He don't even have a switchblade.
He don't even have a switchblade. I heard that, man.
And what's crazy is, you know, Webb's got a 5-star wide receiver that's a freshman.
Yeah.
And he's really good, and Webb is really good. But, I mean, Lipscomb is, you know, they're moving up to the big boy football next year, which is good for Webb. But they're also going to play a national schedule outside of their region games they have to play. So it's a totally different level.
Have they named a coach yet over there who's going to take Meskey's place?
They have not. And we have been hearing a lot of rumblings about Chad Pennington being the next football coach over there. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't even know that Webb has hired an AD, you know, because Meskey's the athletic director as well. So it's going to be interesting. But if you get a Chad Pennington over at Webb, the dynamics of the high school football will change in Knoxville. You're saying a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Trent Dilfer. You know, you got an NFL quarterback that had a really good career that's a Knoxville guy. I would say Webb will get whoever they want over there.
I think they will.
If they hire him, it'd be hard to keep kids not to go to Webb.
It would help them for sure there. But anyway, moving on to college football there, I hope that the Vols there, listen to their coach and everything. Coach Heupel says that they're just looking at one game at a time and stuff there. They looking at Kentucky, I think they're the number 2. They got the number 2 scoring defense in the SEC, giving up maybe 24 points a game. The last time they gave up more than that was against Tennessee last year, when Tennessee, I think, scored 30-something points, even though they only possessed the ball for about 14 minutes. So we'll see what gives, even though the Vols, they've got their wide receiver is going to be back this week there. I think they say he's at 95%, and McCullough, the defensive back, he's going to be able to play there. But I really believe with the big crowd over at Tennessee tomorrow, and how they gave problems with Alabama there with just the crowd noise and stuff there. I was going to ask you guys there, what do you think about that crowd noise there, and how it'll affect the Kentucky offense?
Probably big time.
Oh yeah, I think there's no doubt about it.
Big time, yeah. There's no doubt about it. It's advantage Tennessee.
I forget who it was. Somebody said it was one of the national reporters that, which this is not true, said Tennessee on a Saturday is worth 12 points. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You know, but
that is a lot there.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely a huge home field advantage. You go to other places in the SEC. That old crazy guy at South Carolina said this is why our venue's the best in the SEC. I've been over there a half dozen times. It ain't the top 5. I mean, but that's how these people are having to sell their program now. And I think Josh Heupel, if you look back, they got the 5-star cornerback the other day. I mean, you come there and watch that Alabama game, or you come there and watch them play tomorrow night against Kentucky, it's hard to say no to Tennessee right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With all the hypes going on, the uniforms tomorrow night and everything, that's why it's got to go that way. So, yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys there. I mean, this is just my opinion and everything. I think that when Tennessee played Florida, And they kind of took their foot off the gas there, and they just thought, well, we'll just run the ball and try to run the clock. I think it was a wake-up call for them because they didn't play that kind of football game against Alabama.
No, couldn't. They knew they couldn't.
So they stayed on the gas there and played strong there throughout. I mean, and with 15 seconds or whatever it was there in the fourth quarter there, after being behind there and threw the ball down the field there. Yeah, I like Tennessee's chances tomorrow. I think even I ain't so much about the black uniforms, but I kind of like it there in a way there. But I think with the crowd noise and behind them there, I think can go Vols.
There you go. Thank you, buddy.
All right, see you, bud.
All right, see you guys.
So, what do you think? Tennessee by 20?
I think they'll
14?
win. I could see like a 38-24 game, 38-28 type game.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I could buy that right there.
I'm not sure they'll score high 40s, low 50s, but I think they'll get in the 30s. I mean, have you heard? And I don't follow this a whole lot, but I've started looking at it a little bit on social media. Do you think right now that Hooker is the leading candidate to win the Heisman Trophy?
No, I don't.
You think it's the Stroud?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
And whoever thought we'd be talking about Tennessee quarterback?
Yeah, I just think the
Trophy.
kid at Ohio State now could Hooker be better than him? Possibly, but I just think the Ohio State
As a college quarterback, he could be. Yeah.
Quick caller, you're on the air.
Last thing I want to talk about, I know this is a show about college basketball or college football right now, but I don't know if you guys saw where UT Hoops just whooped up on Gonzaga, ran them out of the building. So we talk about a football school, it's looking like an everything school for UT sports. So if you're a UT fan right now, it's a great time to be alive. Top 5 baseball program by Tony Vitello, top 5, well, supposedly hoping top 5 basketball, and now top 5 in football. So just want to talk about that. UT Hoops is looking like it's going to be pretty good this year since they ran number 2 Gonzaga out of the building.
Yep.
I'll let you guys talk.
All right, man. Thank you. I think Tennessee's going to have a good basketball team this year. Just another one, man. They just can't get over the hump. Just can't win the big one. Got a coach that can recruit, but he just can't win the big ones.
A coach that I love, and I mean you cheer for, but March.
You just want to be in his corner.
But March
throws around, and
it's not kind.
It's not kind to Tennessee. It's not. It's really not kind to Tennessee.
Loyola, they lose Alexander before the Loyola game. You know, that's killer.
It's always something.
It's always something. They foul Purdue in the corner. I mean, last year against Michigan, they were the better basketball team. I don't know that they've lost to a team better than them the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Probably not.
The last 3 tournaments.
Yeah, the last 3 tournaments, probably not. I probably agree with you 100%. There's been something. There's injuries, stupid stuff, you name it. It's happened. You know, it's just.
And I refuse to say anything bad, but man.
Well, it's hard too, because you're right. Rick Barnes is take the coaching part out of it. He's an outstanding guy.
Yeah.
He's an outstanding guy.
He's a guy you like regardless if he's wearing a tee or what he's wearing. I mean, he's just a good guy.
Good guy, and I think he really truly takes care of his players.
They love him.
And they love him, and they go to, and that's what you want. If you're a coach, that's what you want those kids to go to war for.
And he won us a SEC basketball championship.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 40 years old, and that was the first one in my history of my life.
Well, I'm 60-some years old, and they've not been many of them.
That's the first one you remember.
First one I can remember.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to it, it's been way back.
What was it, 72?
70-something, yeah.
76?
77? I mean, 40-some years ago.
It's unbelievable.
Like I said, I'm 60-something. There's not been many of them in my 60-year career.
Yeah.
You know, and there's been a lot of good good ball players at Tennessee, and Tennessee's had some really good basketball teams. But, just cannot beat the Kentuckys or just cannot beat the Alabamas. I mean, like C.M. Newton's at Alabama whatever. The other coach that was there for a long time, I can't even think of his name. Whip Sanderson, was there, and then our Sonny Smith at Auburn. You know, I mean, they just can't do it. I go way back.
Rick Pitino when he's at Kentucky, just hammers.
Kentucky. I mean, you know, even go back to the Ernie Burney days. I mean, Tennessee's
something always happened,
didn't it? Yeah, something always happened. Tony White was there. I mean, they've always had some good. You know, always had some good basketball teams. I remember 2 kids from Carnes were there and played. The center and the point guard.
Yeah, Doug Roth.
I can't remember the point guard's name, but I know they were from Carnes High School.
But, you know, you just look at that. But, man, he has got such a good thing going. But that March, you know, I'm not so sure if they don't beat Purdue that something special might not happen. But it's always that game.
Just think that don't you think that, and I know we're a football show, but we can talk basketball if we're getting ready to get out of here probably. Don't you just think that Tennessee should have played in the Final Four by now with Barnes?
If you look at it, one of the last 3 years, yes.
Yes, they should have, shouldn't they?
I mean,
should they have won a national championship in the last 3 years? Possibly.
Possibly. A lot has got to go your way. I mean, look at how close Bruce Pearl was to playing for a championship. Think about that. I mean, a shot and a foul away from the corner. Yeah, it's tough.
Look at Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Look what Gonzaga's did the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, you know, it's hard to go undefeated. It's hard to run the table.
That last year's team was hot.
Yeah.
And they went into that Michigan game and they did not shoot it good.
So we'll see what this year's team is. Everybody's talking about, you know, this year's team. It could be a little bit better. This could be one of the better teams that he's had. They're saying that. So, but we'll see. So
I'm excited to see the write-up on this game. You know, to see what they're saying and who's good.
It'll be interesting to see more.
It will be.
Anybody you're looking? Is there any one game you're looking forward to next week? Let's ask the question. I know this ain't going to happen. I'm only just throwing this out to be talking. I don't think this will happen, okay? Before anybody starts calling and threatening my life, I don't think this will happen. Is there any way that AC could be looking past Seymour and get tagged next week? No way, right? Didn't think so?
No.
Just talking it.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that aggravates me about high school football. Our 6 classifications are so watered down. The average margin of victory this coming week will probably be 20-plus points for round 1 games. Round 2, I'd be surprised if it's not close to that again. You know, Maryville had a coach, I can't remember his name. He had a saying, the playoffs don't start till they have a name. Quarterfinals, semifinals. You know, that first and second round, you know, it's so different. But, you know, I think my big thing looking at these playoffs is, can Cofield, for our teams, just real quick, can Cofield make a run? And we'll take this call. Can Cofield make a run? I think they've got some stuff figured out. How far can they go? And then the other 2 or 3 teams we'll talk about after this phone call.
Quick caller, you're on the air.
Hey, you heard it here first. Tennessee blows Kentucky out tomorrow. Runs them off the field.
You think so?
Absolutely. Are you going to double team Tillman, or are you going to double team Jalen Hyatt? I mean, you can't double team them both, and if you try, then they're going to run the football.
I just let Tillman do. I'll let Tillman do what he wants to do tomorrow. He ain't been out there in 4 or 5 weeks, so I wasn't too much worried about him.
Yeah, the question is, can you throw it to both? I mean, how do you implement both of them?
Yeah.
Hyatt's the man. Hyatt's your man. He's all conference first team.
Yeah, Tillman's he's not even on the tree anymore.
Oh, he's still one of the best athletes on the team.
He might be one of the best athletes, but he's not the number 1 receiver no more.
He don't have to be the number 1 receiver.
I just think he's a non-factor tomorrow night. Maybe he is a factor. I could be wrong. Won't be the first time, but I think he's a non-factor. I think he's a non-factor tomorrow night. Non-factor.
work him back in tomorrow night, and that way you've got your full assault at Georgia next week.
Yep.
I mean,
good possibility. I agree with you.
Hey, I'm going to say something to the effect of like 52-14 or something like that.
Okay.
They're going to blow them out. They're going to run them out.
All right,
Have you got to hear the caller? I know you're on social media and stuff. Have you got to hear the slow version of Rocky Top?
Oh, yeah.
When they play that tomorrow night in Neyland, that place is going to go nuts.
It will. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And did you see that the official Alabama fan club, like the official Alabama fan club, sent like an appeal to the band Alabama to write a new verse to Dixieland Delight?
Really?
So that, to reword it so that they take Tennessee out of it. And the band responded with absolutely not.
Pretty good. You think they'll play Dixieland tonight again if they win?
They might.
They may no longer play Dixieland Delight at Alabama. I don't know what they're going to come up with. They may stick with it. But the official Alabama, alumni fan club, I guess you call it Vol Nation in Alabama. No, they told Alabama, the band Alabama told them absolutely not. No. That song was written in Tennessee, about Tennessee. There's an official statement about that. You can look that up on Google.
Oh, well.
All right, fellas. Hey, listen. Hey, you know what? The Gators are off the rails. We got Georgia this week, man. Hey, it'd be great to get a win over the Dogs. That'd be fantastic.
It'd be terrible.
But go Vols.
Go Vols.
We'll talk to you next week, man.
Go Vols. See you, fellas.
I want to see Tennessee win.
Yeah.
And I want to see Georgia win. And I want to see. I never want to see Ohio State win, but I cannot wait to see what that college football ranking is going to say. Tuesday night, because I think there's no way around it. I think it could be 1 and 2.
We'll see.
I mean, you think it could be any other way?
No, I don't think it'd be another way.
You don't think they'll try to slip?
Well, there's a possibility they will.
I think they could try to slip Ohio State into
depends
one.
On what Tennessee does tomorrow night. All right, folks, we're back here next Friday night. We start the playoff mode around here. It'll be quick, fast, and furious, so not as many games. So we'll talk Tennessee football a little bit earlier than we probably have. So we cut these games in half. And
let me ask you. You put me on the spot right before we go off.
What's that, man?
We got 2 minutes. Is this the year Harris County can win the state championship?
No. No. I just think Green was too good. I'm saying Harris County's not. Today, if I'm picking it today, just for simple reason, because Harris County's not done anything with Greenville in the last years, Harris County needs to prove me wrong.
Is this year Lamar Brown can win a state championship at Maryville? Or at West? He's been all over the map.
Maybe, because
so I didn't close to win.
I didn't think that West team was that good, but I think they're really good football. I'm not saying Harris County can't win it. They need to just prove me wrong.
Central beat him when he had a better team.
We'll see.
He's got the best team in 5A.
He's got one of the best 5A teams in the state.
Yeah, that's 2 teams that I'm very excited to see what happens.
Well, it starts next Friday night. We'll see.
It don't start next Friday.
Well, I know it don't really, but that's when it starts. We'll be right back here next Friday night at 10 o'clock on the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard. Until then, go Vols. We'll see you next Friday night.
You call your agent with a simple question, only to get sent to voicemail again. We pick up the phone. Did you get this? Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? Like I said, we pick up the phone because it's ringing. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Hello, this is Sam.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy May Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy May Martin for all your real estate.
We are the Roane County High School cheerleaders here at ORUD warming up for tonight's big game. We are Kingston. We are Kingston. We are Kingston. We are Kingston.
ORUD has exciting new appliance incentives to offer your family. Buy appliances and get rewarded. It's as simple as that. Learn more about how much you can save at ORUD.org. You can save over $1,000 on your annual utility bills when you make the switch to natural gas for heating, cooking, and clothes drying.
Natural gas is affordable, reliable, and safe. We are proud to offer our customers a product that saves money, provides consistent service, and is a clean energy source.
ORUD is your one-stop shop. We sell and install gas appliances for our customers and make it easy to add to your bill with our 0% interest financing.
You can make the game-winning play by switching to natural gas this football season. ORUD is your affordable energy choice.
OS needed to beat the Green Wave, but also needed Greenback to beat Oakdale to avoid a three-way tie scenario, which would see them as the odd team out. In Larry Green's final game as head coach, Oliver Springs held up its end of the bargain. All eyes went to Morgan County, where the Eagles knocked off the Cherokees for only the second time in school history in an instant classic, 16-14. Tyler Harper was on that Oliver Springs staff that made almost a miraculous turnaround. Now he's the head coach, and his team has made an actual miraculous turnaround. Entering into the season with 4 straight losses, and now the Bobcats know they'll host a playoff game next week. The end of the season momentum showed what was possible, and this year's team went out and got it. Now it's Midway looking for that spark to carry into the offseason under first-year head coach Justin O'Toole. His team is young, and the season has been brutal, but the record and final scores aren't exactly indicative of what this team is made of. The Green Wave has been looking for a 4-quarter performance, and when they get it, they're going to show what is possible, just like Oliver Springs did last season. Can they get that boost tonight against the team that used them for it just one season ago? We'll find out tonight on the OEB Law Game of the Week, day or night, 24/7. Someone will be there to answer and give you a free consultation and get to work on your case immediately. Call 865-546-1111 or visit the website full of helpful information, wreckintoacheck.com. That's OEB Law. I'm Aaron Harvey, joined once again by my impervious colleague, Coach James Hoot Gibson, and we welcome you into the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show as we are live from the Emerald Forest south of the river. We are at Midway, where Oliver Springs is in town. You know, that turnaround for Oliver Springs has been outstanding, but the Bobcats are coming off of a 50-0 loss against Coalfield. That kind of game can be deflating or inspiring. Midway's playing with house money. Is this a potential trap game for Oz?
It really is, as long as Midway is healthy. This is a classic Roane County matchup. It's a big rivalry game, so, hey, anything can happen down here tonight.
Anything can happen, and we are looking forward to seeing it. As you can see on the screen now, it is senior night here at Midway, so the seniors on this Midway team will be I don't see any football players there okay, yes, this is a young Midway team. They don't have a whole lot of seniors, but they will have something extra to play for tonight. And we will talk about playoff scenarios, and we'll preview this game tonight when we get back to your Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show on the OEB Law Game of the Week.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
The Harriman Utility Board works hard to ensure reliable electric power is delivered to our service area. Recurring tree trimming and maintenance is essential to preventing unplanned outages caused by falling trees. HUB crews are constantly at work during the peak growing season and respond rapidly to storm damage. As partners in our community, we urge customers to be aware of the importance of electric line right-of-way management. Find out more about current right-of-way policies at our website, hub-tn.com.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy May Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy May Martin for all your real estate needs. Kathy's 30-plus years of knowledge and experience gives her clients the competitive edge. You know, like me on game day. Kick is up and it's good. Kathy May Martin for all your real estate needs.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
"1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
And welcome back into the OAB Law Game of the Week and the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show. Elaine Walden can take care of you. Almost $8 million in sales in October alone. $20 million, over $20 million in sales for her career. She's been in it for over 5 years. And you don't have those kind of numbers unless you know what you're doing, and that is what Elaine Walden has going for her.
Yeah, guys, if you're out there and you're on the fence about potentially buying your new home, don't think too much longer because interest rates are about to go through the roof. So if you want to buy a home, now is the time. Do not wait until 2023. Interest rates are going to go high. So give Elaine Walden a phone call, 423-334-0070.
Yeah, that's right. Interest rates going up, trying to combat inflation. And so until inflation gets under control, you might see the Fed keep trying to raise those interest rates just a little bit to try to bring our buying power down. Like, that's the purpose of raising the rates for the Fed, to keep us from spending money. So, yeah, spend it now.
That's it. Spend it now before it takes too much more of it.
That's right. So, we've got to talk about playoff scenarios. There's quite a bit on the line in Week 11. Let's talk about one scenario that's already been realized. Last night, Farragut beat Bearden in their annual rivalry game, 28-21. That win guaranteed a home game in the first round of the playoffs, but it also makes it possible for the Admirals to win a region championship if Maryville were to fall tonight against Bradley Central. Now, I don't see that happening, but if it did, it would create a 3-way tie between the Rebels, Bearden, and the Bears. In that case, Bradley Central would finish second, believe it or not. Maryville third, and Bearden fourth. Could you imagine coming in second in Region 1, and it's like, oh, welcome, you got Maryville.
Yeah.
That's your home games against Maryville.
Fourth place Bearden. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So, if Maryville wins as expected, though, the Rebels claim another region championship, followed by Farragut, Bearden, and Bradley Central. I would tell you who each of these teams would potentially play in the first round, but there are far too many scenarios for Region 1 6A. We can tell you that either Dobbins-Bennett and Science Hill will finish first or second because they play tonight. And then we can also tell you that Jefferson County and Westridge play tonight, while Morristown East plays William Blount. The Governors are out of it, but the other three are vying for the final 2 spots, and that William Blount game actually does matter. So it's a little complicated up there. So you'll be able to find all that out later. And I'm sure tonight on the Friday Night Scoreboard show from the Free Medical Clinic, Cox and Queener will have some more information on that for you. Another game last night had playoff implications as Brainerd knocked off Signal Mountain 36-24 in Region 3 3A. That region had 8 different scenarios entering last night. But now that's been cut in half. Kingston's on the road tonight at Loudon. The school sport identical 5-4 records. If the Yellow Jackets win,
big game.
Yeah, they finish third no matter what else happens. If they lose, they're out. Ooh. McMinn Central plays at Sweetwater. The winner of that game is finishing first. The other would finish second unless Loudon and Sweetwater both win, in which case Loudon would actually finish second and McMinn Central would finish third. For every other scenario, though, the winner of McMinn Central and Sweetwater wins the region and the loser finishes second. The winner of the Kingston-Loudon game finishes third, while the loser sits the postseason out. That is a wide range of scenarios.
Too much arithmetic for me.
Yeah, I mean, look at there. You got Kingston, Brainerd, and Signal Mountain all sitting at 1 and 3.
Kingston's got to get a big win tonight over Loudon, and the Jim Hoop gets some Memorial Bowl. That's a big game, and a lot of Kingston people's going to be showing out for that one.
Yeah, that is going to be a big game tonight in Loudon. As far as Region 4, who Region 3 would match up with in playoffs, all those scenarios wrapped up last night as all 3 games that potentially mattered were played yesterday. Giles County has won the region. Sequatchie County finishes second. And let's see.
I mean, Giles County, this region could be totally knocked out after the first round.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, Giles County is the only team that I can see upsetting a team out of the other region.
Well, obviously, out of those 3A teams, the one that we have seen this season is Kingston. So if Kingston wins tonight, that would put them at the 3rd seed, and they would travel to Dunlap to take on Sequatchie County next week.
Yeah, and in that matchup, I'm going with Kingston.
So there you go.
Yeah, so could be a pretty little, big opportunity. This game tonight for Kingston is, you bold this game. This is a huge game for that program. Let's get out there and get a win tonight.
All right, so that is Coach James Hoot Gibson. I am Aaron Harvey, and this is your Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show. We'll talk about some more playoff scenarios when we get back to your OAB Law Game of the Week.
You need a vehicle that works just as hard as you do. At Ray Varner Ford in Clinton, we make those rugged everyday tasks a little easier so you can enjoy life in this new 2022 Ford Edge all-wheel drive, $41,990. 2022 Ford XLT four-wheel drive Explorer, $51,210. 2022 F-150 4x4 Super Crew, $59,954. Local you trust, hard-working vehicles you can afford. Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Patterson's Appliances has been helping families like yours find quality home appliances from trusted brands including Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid for over 55 years. Our knowledgeable appliance specialists know how to outfit your kitchen or laundry room with the right appliances to meet your needs. We service what we sell with our own in-house factory-trained service technicians. And for the DIYers, our parts department is always ready to help customers find the appliance parts they need. Patterson's Home Appliances, because we care.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Thank you.
The national anthem tonight, performed by the Midway High School Marching Band. Wonderful rendition of that. You made a comment just a second ago. How many single A teams across the state of Tennessee have a band? And
yeah.
It's not many.
Especially 22 members. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And they did a really good job. Got a good band director down there, so that's really good to see. Whenever you see a good, healthy band, usually means you got a healthy school.
Yeah. And I can say that the reputation for Midway School is very high.
Yeah, this is a good place down here, man.
Yeah.
Good place to raise your kids and quality education down here, and it's just a really good family atmosphere down here.
Yeah, so let's get off of that, though, and let's tell everybody that this is the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show. Elaine Walden, Morgan County gal herself, does business all over the
5-star rating. Everybody out there knows what 5-star is.
On Zillow.
On Zillow. She's got a 5-star rating, guys. She's made a lot of families happy. She's helped them navigate this stressful situation, what is called real estate acquisition. So, guys, if you're out there and you're in need of any kind of selling your property, buying some property, you're not having luck with your current realtor, you need to give Elaine Walden a phone call, guys. She's the best out there. 423-619-6748. Get your cell phone out, hold it up there to the screen, and take a picture of that. And look her up and give her a call later, tomorrow, whenever, and ask her if she can help you guys, because trust us when we tell you it's a stressful situation and she can really help navigate it for you.
Yeah, so that's Coach James Hoot Gibson. I'm Aaron Harvey. This is your OAB Law Game of the Week. We are at Midway tonight, where Oliver Springs is in town for this region battle. But let's keep talking about playoff scenarios, and let's look at Class 4A now. Anderson County will look to finish the season undefeated tonight against Scott High. But that game doesn't matter. AC's already claimed a region crown. Gibbs hosts South Doyle tonight, and Carter plays Fulton. Okay, those two games will determine the rest of the finishing order. If Gibbs and Carter both win, then Gibbs finishes second, Carter third, Fulton fourth. If Carter and South Doyle win, then it's AC 1, Carter 2, Fulton 3, and South Doyle 4. Any other outcome, and it's AC, Fulton, Gibbs, and Carter. All four of those teams except South Doyle can finish second. Gibbs can finish second, third, or even miss the playoffs. Carter and Fulton can finish second, third, or fourth. How about that for a nutty Week 11?
Gibbs is sweating bullets tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Gibbs, most likely scenarios to finish second.
Fifth, right?
Yeah, third to fifth.
Ooh.
And I would say Gibbs has had a pretty good season, like better than usual season for them.
Up and down, 4 and 5, 5 and 4.
They're 5 and 4 right now.
So, yeah, up and down. But, yeah, they did have some tough games this year.
All right, so now let's go to 5A. Central plays West tonight. If Central were to pull off the monumental upset, the Bobcats would win the region, believe it or not. Do you think the season that West has had, you beat Alcoa, you beat Maryville, and you don't win your region?
In the mouth by Central.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Central beat.
Yeah, it's possible, but highly unlikely. So instead, let's look at the other scenarios. Sevier County plays Cott County tonight. Sevier County should win, but again, there could be a monumental upset, but just don't think that that's going to happen. So then we're going to assume that those two games go chalk the way that we think they're going to. That moves all of the attention to Halls versus Heritage tonight. Halls only has one win on the season, but the Red Devils have gotten better and better as it's gone on. Heritage, on the other hand, kind of been a little hard to put a finger on. For instance, 2 weeks ago against the Mountaineers, they got a huge 16-13 win against Sevier County, but last week they lost to Lenore City 38-21. Whichever team wins tonight between Heritage and Halls will get the 4th seed. Again, barring a monumental upset. Central would finish third, Sevier County second, West, of course, first. Halls Heritage should be a great game tonight. And as far as Region 1 goes, Cherokee plays Tennessee High. David Crockett plays Richlands of Virginia. Cherokee would have to pull off a pretty major upset, and David Crockett would also have to win to create drama in that region. Otherwise, Daniel Boone finishes first, Morristown West second, Tennessee third, and David Crockett fourth. So
a lot of scenarios.
A lot of scenarios there. In single and double A, it's a lot easier to tell you what could happen. Because in single A, Region 2, all eyes are on Oakdale and Greenback tonight, which it was kind of that way last year as well. The winner's going to finish third, the loser fourth. Coalfield and Oakdale finishing first and second, respectively, anyway. As far as their opponents, Coalfield will have a home game next week against North Green. Oliver Springs will host Cosby. The Greenback-Oakdale winner will travel to Unaka, and the loser will have to make the trip to Cloudland. In AA Region 2, Rockwood plays York and Monterey plays Wartburg. If York wins, the Dragons finish first, Monterey second, Rockwood third, and Oneida fourth. However, if Rockwood were to beat York tonight, they'll be looking for the score of the other game. A Wartburg upset would make the Tigers region champions.
Man,
wow.
that would be crazy.
That would be nuts. Yeah, so Rockwood would win a region if Wartburg were able to pull off that upset.
Let's go Wartburg.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a big fan of chaos.
That's a trap game right there.
Yeah.
Wartburg's playing some pretty good ball right now.
Yeah, it could be. So, if I had to guess right now, I think the Tigers probably going to lose on the road tonight, and that would create the following first-round matchups next week. Oneida would go to Hampton, Rockwood would go to South Green, Monterey would host Happy Valley, and York would have a home game against Cumberland Gap. So, again, that's if it goes down the way we think it will.
Man, everybody's rooting for Wartburg tonight.
I love chaos. Bring it on.
Yeah.
And then Rockwood would be back-to-back region champs.
Yeah, man.
That'd be huge for them.
And heading into Single A next year, as you just were region champs in 2. Come on, man.
So those are the playoff scenarios that we wanted to talk about tonight. Now we got to talk about this Midway Oliver Springs game. As you could just hear the crowd a moment ago, just going crazy. Like I had to raise my voice. You think it's week 11. Midway's won 2 games this year, but that's how loud the crowd is anyway. So they've got a lot of support.
Communities coming out to support these seniors. The last time that they, 5 seniors. It's a very young football team.
Yeah.
This whole community comes out to support their own, and it don't matter what the record is, they're going to come out and support this bunch.
It's been a rather tumultuous year for Midway. Coming off a 6-win regular season that ended in the second round of the playoffs, head coach Ron Treadway stepped down last season. The next head coach was announced this spring as Joe Campbell. Campbell coached a previous stint with Midway that lasted 4 years. His next stint wouldn't even last 4 months, as Campbell, a 2000 graduate of Midway, resigned over the summer. Well, this left the administration in need to quickly hire a coach before the school year started, and they hired from within. Justin O'Toole, who's been on the staff for several years, was promoted to head coach. O'Toole, also a graduate from the school, was excited to take over. His season started out with a bang as his alma mater got a road victory against Sail Creek, a team that is playoff bound in Region 3. The final score was 22-14. The next week, it was an away game against Lakeway Christian, a private school in Morristown. As probably expected, the outcome was a blowout loss, 48-7. Week 3 had an away game against Oakdale on the schedule. The Eagles were fresh off of finishing second in the region the previous season and opened up the 22 campaign with back-to-back 60-point performances. This young Midway team not only went toe-to-toe that night, they nearly won it, leading going into the fourth quarter 14-0. However, after an Oakdale score and 2 interceptions leading to scores, the Eagles got away with a 24-14 victory. A couple weeks later, Wartburg was in town. Midway scored first, going up 7-0. At halftime, it trailed 14-7. The final score, though, was 26-7. A couple weeks after that, this team went to Harriman. It was 14-all at halftime. Midway led in the third quarter 22-20, but found themselves down 28-22 as the fourth quarter began, and the final score of that game ended up being 43-22. The next week, Coach O'Toole got his second career win when his team defeated Some Right 33-18. What I'm trying to get across is that Midway is not as bad of a team as the record would indicate. This team is young but talented and growing.
Yeah, Midway's, anytime that you look at a Midway team, the way that I've always kind of gauged them is most of the time if their record is below 500, it's because they have less than 25 players on the roster. Anytime Midway is really good, challenging, for that number 1, number 2 spot in the region, they normally have above 25 on the roster. And I think what is the issue this year is just lack of bodies.
And it very well could be, as we see the coin toss on the field. Looks like Midway has won the toss. Let's see what the Green Wave elects to do. Midway will receive it to start this game. So let's talk about that offense a little bit. Brennan Reed is the team's quarterback. He's a sophomore. Mason Tate is the team's starting running back. He's a freshman. One of the leading wide receivers is Peyton Steele, a sophomore. This team has nowhere to go but up from here.
Yeah, it really does. Very young team, very talented squad. A team that could jump up and challenge for that number 1, number 2 position next year if they can just get a good grasp on the coaching situation here and just really get a good familiarity with what he's trying to do.
So Oliver Springs coming off a 50-0 loss against Coalfield last week. Despite that setback, the Bobcats are playoff bound and will host the first round next week. What's Coach Tyler Harper's focus tonight beyond trying to get out of here with no injuries?
Consistency. Work on what you do, but you want to see some consistency out of your bunch heading into the first round next week. So I'm sure Coach Harper has been doing a lot of film work this week with his bunch.
As we get set to watch the Midway Green Wave come through, they rip through the paper for the last time for 5 seniors and the final time this season. The Green Waves want to send shockwaves through their program, and the Bobcats want to end the season on a high note. What are the keys for both of these teams tonight?
For Midway, they've got to force a couple turnovers. They're going to have to win in the passing game. For Oliver Springs, they're going to have to win in the trenches and have a big night in the running game.
All right, so that's Coach James Hoot Gibson. I want to thank you for joining us for our Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show. Again, give her a call, 423-334-0070 or 423-619-6748. Save those numbers and use them if you're wanting to buy a house, maybe the first one you've ever had. There's no better time than now. Get on it. That is Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties. As now, we get set for our Davis Funeral Homes kickoff. Davis Funeral Homes with 2 locations to serve you in Harriman and in Wartburg. Go to davisfuneralhomes.com to see what all services they can offer you. All right, getting set to kick this one is Liam Bokey for Oliver Springs. Back deep to receive for Midway is Bryson Human, and looks like Tate Mason.
Brennan, number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is Brennan Reed.
Short kick.